Welcome to the AdSense Flippers Podcast. Are you sick and tired of gurus who have plenty of ideas but are short on substance? Worried that ebook you bought for $17.95 won't bring you the personal and financial freedom you long for? Hey, you're not alone. Join thousands of others in their pursuit of niche profits without the bullshit. Straight from your hosts, Justin and Joe of AdSense Flippers.
Welcome to the second episode of the AdSense Flippers Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Cook, and I've also got Joe Magnotti here as well.
Hi, everybody.
So, guys, I just want to go over really quick what we're going to be covering today. We're going to be covering first some updates, a little bit of news and information. Second, we're going to get into the story of AdSense Flippers, how Joe and I found out about each other, came to meet each other, and then built our company. And then last, we're going to go over some ninja marketing tips, tricks, and our plans for the future. So really excited about this episode. Glad to have you with us. First, Joe, I just want to say really quick that we had some great downloads on our first podcast. We're just under 1,000 downloads in under 2 weeks. That's pretty good, huh?
Very excited about that, dude. Awesome.
Yeah, and by the way, we've got some new podcast subscribers. We broke 2,000 subscribers overall on AdSense Flippers, which I'm really excited about. We've been getting some great emails from you guys on feedback on what you'd like to hear, what you're looking forward to in the future with AdSense Flippers. That really helps us out. I mean, a lot of our content comes from you because part of the reason we do AdSense Flippers is just to give you information to help you guys out further as you continue along with your goals.
And don't forget, Justin, this recording comes from Rock 105 FM here in Davao City. We're in a studio getting this done the right way.
Dude, it rocks, man. Like, this place is like totally professional. We've got real mics. Really excited to be here. The benefits of being in the Philippines is you get some great deals for relatively cheap. We're paying about $100 US to rent a full-on studio for 3 hours. That's pretty cool, man, huh?
That's good stuff.
Also, I want to mention, a lot of people are asking how you can get a hold of us, and email gets a bit rough. So if you ever want to just check out what we're doing or what we're up to, check us out on Twitter at AdSenseFlippers.com. I'm on there on a regular basis. I'm always tweeting about some things that we think are interesting. You should definitely check us out there. Make sure to follow us, and we can do some back and forth there. Wanted to give you a quick update on the websites. We've got a new AdSense Flippers logo.
I am so excited about that logo. You might think it's cheesy, but I love our little cartoon.
No, man, it is a little cartoony, but I do like it. Compared to the other ones we got, which were like way too corporate for what we're doing. I mean, dude, we're building mini niche sites, right? I mean, that's our gig.
Yeah, and big props to 99 Designs for helping us get that done.
Yeah, dude, love those guys. Big fans. Also, our Buy Our Sites page, we have some really exciting plans there. Basically, our Buy Our Sites in the previous was static. So anytime you go to the Buy Our Sites page, you'll see it, and kind of it's not really updated, that kind of thing. We looked at the AdSense API, and you can actually have it pull once a day updated information. So basically, we're turning our Buy Our Sites page into a marketplace, and you'll see daily fluctuations on the value, daily fluctuations on the price, which is really exciting. So you can look at it like a market, right, Joe?
Yeah, we're going to continue to still do flipper auctions, but I think there's a lot of value in offering our sites for sale directly on the website for both us and for buyers. I mean, hey, we don't have to reveal our niches unless you actually buy the websites. So that's kind of nifty. And also, as you talked about, Justin, the price will adjust based on 30-day revenue automatically. So for sites that are going down in revenue, you'll get a deal. For sites that are going up, well, act now.
Yeah, also it gives buyers the opportunity to just buy it straight from the site. Of course, you can still email us with questions if you have any, issues with a particular site or want to know a bit more about it. We'll let you know. But you can buy it straight from the page too, which is pretty cool.
I definitely want some feedback on this page because we're really testing it out. And before we go to the next phase of the project, please, even if you don't intend on buying our sites, check out the sales page. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, and guys, we love your feedback. We get it all the time, and it's really helpful for us as we continue to grow our business. So don't be shy. Let us know what's going on. So what's up, man? Where are we going, Joe?
We are going to Singapore and Bali starting December. Well, I'm going December 1st. You're going November 29th. But basically, beginning of December, we will be in Singapore, and then over to Bali to check out the guys at Tropical MBA, check out their house, hang out with them a little bit, and do some Southeast Asia traveling.
Dude, I'm stoked about Singapore, too. I mean, I've been there a few times. My girlfriend's never been there, and she's going with me. And we were looking at a place called Sentosa Island. You should check that out before we go, Joe, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, they have a place where you can do the swim with the dolphins thing. So I guess you can swim with the pink dolphins.
I swam with the pink dolphins in the Amazon down in Brazil, so I guess I'll swim with the pink dolphins on the other side of the world.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, and then we're cruising over to Bali, which I've been to Bali once before. It's a pretty short trip, but I love it there, man. Beautiful beach, amazing people, and we're going to be there for what, like 4 or 5 days?
Yeah, 4 or 5 days. I am so pumped to meet Dan and crew, hang out of the house, have a cold beer, and check out what's going on at the Tropical MBA. And you guys should check it out too, tropicalmba.com. They have a great podcast going over there now.
I'm really stoked about, there's a guy there that used to work with the AdSense team, so I know he's leaving in December. Hopefully we get to meet up with him as well. I'd really like to pick his brain. I'll tell you guys, anything we get out of that, we'll definitely report back to you either in the podcast or in the blog. Hopefully we get some updated information about AdSense from an ex-AdSense employee.
The AdSense Flippers Podcast.
All right, it's time to get into the heart of episode 2, which is basically our backstory, how AdSense Flippers came to be, how we got to know each other in our previous businesses and how that worked out. Hopefully this will give some information to anyone looking to break away from their JOB. So, buddy, we've known each other now, like 40 years, 50 years?
No, I was doing the math on it, Justin. We've known each other 13 years now, so it has been quite a long time. It's gone from acquaintance to close friendship to business partnership. It's been quite a wild ride.
I remember back in 2004, I'd been in the real estate business for a while. You were chilling in Brazil for a while, right?
That's correct.
And we said, hey, why don't we start a business? Let's talk about that a little bit. How did that come to be?
We decided on a place halfway around the world, Thailand, and we met up in Bangkok. And after a little bit of partying, we got down to business and decided, because we had some experience in the real estate business, in the loan business, we would open up our own mortgage company where we would offer really good splits to virtual loan officers. People could work from anywhere. We thought that was a really cool and nifty idea, giving the highest splits to people all around the country.
A lot of the loan officers or like mortgage companies were basically work from here. You're stuck every day coming in the office and closing your loans. But we offered a pretty good deal where people could work from home, make huge splits, and that went well for us. We were doing well. This is back in early 2005. And things were going well. Real estate business was good. Mortgage business was good. But the writing was on the wall, man.
Well, I mean, even before that, the biggest thing that we had to do was attract loan officers in order to make the company work. And so the only way to do that was to do it online. And because we didn't have a lot of overhead, we didn't have an office, we didn't give out leads, we really had to market our company to loan officers to bring in the loans. And that led to a lot of posting online and things like Craigslist, doing that on a repetitive basis, something that it's very good for outsourcing.
Yeah, man. You remember that we were looking online for someone that could help post ads on Craigslist and do some of the maintenance work that we needed. And so we posted ads in India, in the Philippines, in I think China as well, or Thailand.
South America.
Here's the scene. We're in the office, and I've got literally 30 resumes spread around me. I'm sitting on the ground trying to go through these resumes. These are qualified people. They've got degrees. They've got experience doing what we need them to do. And we were like, wow, we couldn't believe the overwhelming response we had from outsourcers looking to be VAs.
Yeah, and I would say the distinguishing factor really came down to the interview process. Once we got them on Skype and we saw that English as a second language was a real limiting factor because the communication just wasn't there. Even though they were qualified, yeah, they could write well, you really need to be able to speak to somebody. You need to be able to talk to them on a regular basis. And that made the Philippines very attractive. And we met one agent down here in Davao, and we decided to go with her. And we worked with her for the next year and a half very effectively. In fact, that was the best part of our business, right?
Yeah, we get that question a lot, like, why are you starting Davao? And I love to give a cooler story about, oh, it's better down here, it's typhoon-free, it's great emerging market.
Much cheaper than Manila and Cebu.
It is, that's all true, but the truth of it, we just found someone better in Davao, and it kind of worked out. So it's kind of not planned, but it's one of those things that really turned out well for us. We're driving somewhere, I'm driving, and you're sitting there on your phone, right?
Yeah, this was back in 2005, 2006. Internet on your phone was still emerging. There was no iPhone at the time, and I had a Windows mobile phone that actually had Yahoo Messenger.
Dude, those sucked, right? Windows mobile phones, terrible. I can't believe how much better an Android and iPhones are, but anyway.
Unbelievable. But the cool thing is here I am on Yahoo Messenger communicating in real time with my virtual assistant halfway around the world in the Philippines and asking her to do stuff for me.
As the real estate market started tanking, we realized, the mortgage business is done. I mean, it's basically going away. It wasn't working out for us, and we were losing money at that point. But we said, wow, this Philippines thing, there's something to that, man. That's probably the coolest thing we had going at the time. But we had an agent working for us. We didn't have any opportunity to really expand that, but we knew later on that was something we wanted to do.
Yeah, and we didn't really have a product that we could package up and ship off to people or anything like that, so we weren't able to leverage outsourced labor like we can now, and we honestly didn't know the outsourcing market that well.
Yeah, it's really moved on too. I mean, just the other day I was listening to Jason Calcanis. He was in his car on his way home, and he decided to broadcast live audio. So he just tweeted it out. There was like 40, 45 people that joined, and he was just kind of going on a rant about something he wanted to talk about. But I mean, that's like a live podcast basically from his cell phone in his car. I mean, how cool is that? It's really interesting to see where we've come, where we were like all fired up about a Yahoo chat messenger in the car with our agent in the Philippines, to now we're sitting in the Philippines listening to Jason live in his car on his drive home while he's ranting.
And you can even do things like Justin.tv, which allows you to broadcast video live on the web basically for free. Pretty awesome site. You should check that out. You can do it straight from your phone if you have an Android or an iPhone. They have an app.
Yeah, some NFL games were readily available on Justin TV till NFL shut that down.
So, buddy, it's mid-2007. The real estate business is going nowhere. Our particular loan business is absolutely in the toilet. And both decided that it's time to move on. I go play professional poker. You go and get the job. Tell us about that.
Yeah, man, that was really tough. Deciding when you should give up on something, when it's no longer viable for you, or whether you should just make some changes to what you're doing to keep it going. But at that time, with the market where it was and the real estate industry, it wasn't good. And I think if we'd have realized beforehand where it was going, we probably could have headed into something that was a little different and done better. But yeah, we were stuck at that point. It was a pretty sad point, like professionally for me. Anyway, I knew I had to go work. I had to go get a job. Sucked. Wasn't very happy about it. But found a cool internet marketing company, startup that I could work with. So basically they were looking for like a mid-level manager. Is a good fit for me, so I ended up jumping on board with them. You're goofing off playing poker for a living, actually making some money out of it.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun, but I tell you, poker is not very rewarding. I mean, in the end, you're not doing much. You don't really network with people much. You don't interact. You don't learn new skills besides how to just make more money at poker, and it's all comes down to just your per hour. I decided to join you in your local SEO venture.
Yeah, so internet marketing company, and I'm like, look, Joe, dude, we're building something kind of cool over here. We could use you. We could really use your skills over here. And you were sick of not building anything. I know we talked about that before. You were like, God, I wish I was doing something. I mean, basically, I'm just meeting people and like figuring out how to get money out of them via poker. So, yeah, you're not bringing you over, bringing you into the internet marketing company, and you worked your way up. We got a few promotions during that time, and we ended up running a good portion of their operations. I think I ran customer service, the billing department, customer retention, and then compliance. And then you ran production, video.
Yeah, we basically ran the entire operation staff minus accounting.
Yeah.
So anything that wasn't sales or accounting was run by us. And we had, 65 people under us.
And one of the cool things about that, I mean, we had a ton of experience interviewing, hiring people. So we were pretty skilled there. And we were in some of the strategy meetings to help grow the company. And that was exciting for us. After our failure with the real estate business and our own venture, we were a little gun shy, actually. So having the support of a larger company to kind of like blossom in, I guess is the best way to put it, really helped our psyche. So it really helped our psyche to get us back up to speed, run a company.
Yeah, and it was nice to have some mentorship. So where some of the high-level staff, the high-level officers at the company were definitely mentors to us.
Yeah, so here's the situation, right? We have the CEO, CFO, and COO that come to us and say, look, guys, we need to cut costs. how can we cut costs without cutting a bunch of employees? Like, how can we get this done? And we're like, wow, okay, with our Philippines experience, this is a pretty good opportunity for us. So we said, hold on, let's get back to you. And we basically leveraged our contacts in the Philippines to see what we could do, right?
Right. And we contacted the individual that we had as a virtual assistant back with the mortgage company back in Davao City and said, hey, would you be willing to work for us in a SEO capacity at a new company we're working for? And one person turned into three people turned into 8, and before we knew it, we had a little staff going here down in Davao.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we have a little staff going now. We go back to the C-level guys, and they're stoked about it. They love it. In fact, they say, hey, can you give us a plan where we can do more of this? We're actually cutting costs enough to where it's like extremely viable. We want to scale this. We love what you guys are doing. We want to do this at scale. That was exciting for us. We knew we were on to something there.
Yeah, I think we always wanted to have a getaway to Southeast Asia, live overseas, but make Western money. That's always been key to us, and we saw the writing on the wall. We saw the future, the possibility of having our own business overseas and making Western money.
So that was it, man. I remember me and you, notebook in hand, probably a couple of beers down, and we're at Outback Steakhouse at the bar there.
Which I don't recommend because I don't like their food.
I'll take it right now, man, here in Davao. Yeah, so we're at the bar on a notepad scribbling out our ideas. They came to us, sat us down, and said, look, we need to do this. And we said, oh my God, this is a great opportunity for us to outsource ourselves. This is a great opportunity for us to start a business offshore. So we ended up sketching it out. We got all together, PowerPoint presentation and everything, kind of laid it out for them. And they said, yeah, let's go with it. You guys set up your own company. We don't want to deal with it at all. And then we'll outsource everything to you. Your company's now a vendor to us while you're still employees here.
Yeah, I remember them saying the biggest thing they want to do is they don't want to own stuff overseas. They don't want to own an office. They don't want to own desks and chairs and have employees overseas. They wanted us to take that pain away for them, and that's what we did.
So that was exciting. We basically set up our company in the Philippines. And then Joe and I said, hey, we got to fly out there. I mean, we got to check it out. Great opportunity for like a mini vacation / work trip. And we ended up both flying out to the Philippines and checking out the operation.
Yeah, that was in late 2008. We came out here and we saw how the working conditions were.
Yeah, not good. Basically, there were 4 people in one little room inside a house. Think sweatshop, and that's what we're looking at. We're like, oh my God, we're sweatshop owners. That's not cool.
Yeah, so we said the first things first, we have to get an office. We went back to the States, went to our CEO, CFO, told them we got to get an office. They were willing to put down guaranteed contract, and then we got a nice-sized office here in Davao.
Yeah, man, and then it was away from there. I mean, at that point, we said, why don't you go ahead and cut us as employees too? Why don't we join our company and you can basically just outsource us and we'll be consultants for you? And that's basically when we started really building up our company. We were kind of capture, so we were only a vendor to that company at that point still. But Joe ended up coming out here a couple more times. We did a few more visits, and then ultimately Joe ended up moving out here.
Well, I realized that it needed Western management on the ground, day-to-day running things here. That was seriously lacking. August of 2009, I moved out here to do that, to run the operations day-to-day, and also to find new clients because, let's face it, although we were a capture center, we were still a vendor, and we needed to find other clients to diversify our portfolio.
The cool thing was like it was a plan all along. I mean, that was something that we wanted to do. We just needed a good opportunity. And when we heard about cutting costs and needing cheaper labor, we said, wow, let's strike while the iron's hot. Let's get into this.
Right.
So, for anyone that's working a job or whatever, if you find a situation where they need to get something done and they need to get it done cheaper, that may be a good opportunity for you to see if you can work in some VAs and start to build a team yourself. And that's for your own businesses as well. If you need cheaper labor, it's definitely a good idea to look offshore.
I would definitely say, too, if they're already outsourcing, if you work for a company that's already outsourcing, but they're outsourcing to another country, it's good to find a better outsourcing solution. And if you could run that even on a small case scenario and prove to upper level management that you have a success story here, they're going to be willing to go with you over their existing relationship.
Okay, so we just outsourced ourselves. You had just moved to the Philippines, and I'm still in the U.S., basically doing the job. I'm working as a consultant at that time, but I'm still in the U.S. doing my thing. So talk about when you first got to the Philippines to live there, Joe.
Oh, man. It was a little bit of a nightmare because I didn't have a support group. I had to figure out everything myself. I did have some local Filipinos. Obviously, I had a staff of 20-some-odd people to get things done. But But it's not like the U.S. You can't just look it up online. There's no yellow book. Getting stuff, finding stuff, it's very tough. You can't jump on Amazon. You can't just buy something. It doesn't work that way here.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you take for granted in the U.S. is that if you need furniture, you know where to go. If you need your internet hooked up, you know where to go. Here, you can't just search online really quick for a furniture store that's close to you. It doesn't work that way. You can't just pull out your iPhone and get directions to the furniture store. You have to ask around. So you have to know someone who knows someone that knows a plumber that can come over and fix your stuff. It's pretty odd. But anyway, man, so I'm back in the U.S. I'm working as a consultant, and I'm not liking it. Right? I mean, you're out here in the Philippines, you're having the time of your life, you're enjoying, you're building our business, and I'm back there stuck. I remember sitting down with one of our mentors, Phil, and he told me, look, Justin, it'd be so much better if you stayed here in the U.S. I mean, you're going to pick up more clients. It's going to be better for your business if you do that. And he's a really good friend, really good mentor, and I really respect what he had to say. At the same time, I told him, lifestyle-wise, that just doesn't work for me. I mean, I want to travel. I want to move to the Philippines. I want to live there so I can live my life. That's more important to me.
Yeah, looking back for the business, Justin, it probably would have been better for you to stay. But honestly, hey, man, it was great having you here, too, because I was missing my friend at that point. You know, I didn't have many close friends here. It was great to have you come out.
I ended up finally moving out to the Philippines in January, and I'll tell you, no matter how much you prepare for a different culture, I mean, even the Philippines is close. I mean, everyone speaks English here. Like, it's really nice, but it's just different. I mean, there's nothing that can really prepare you for living there, no matter how many books you read or how many times you visited there. It was definitely a bit of a shock to me. By this time, Joe had already been used to or adapted to the Philippines, and everything was kind of normal for him, where I was excited. We're driving down the street, I'm wondering what this is, and check this out, and you know, kind of crazy. Once I'd moved to the Philippines, we said, wow, okay, we've got one client. That's probably not a good thing, right?
No, that was the biggest thing we knew we had to fix, was we need more customers.
So we started looking for new customers, and we started finding people on the internet. We built up TryBPO.com. Basically, if you look up TryBPO.com or look for Davao Outsourcing, we're all over the place. So I think we did a really good job of branding ourselves as the Davao Outsourcers, and we got some leads from that. What ended up happening, though, was our original client started scaling back. So every new client we'd add, we'd lose a few agents through the other guys.
Yeah, it was definitely a one step forward, two steps back kind of situation that was very frustrating for me because I didn't feel like we were getting anywhere. We were adding clients, but we just weren't adding enough revenue to really build a company. It became a nice lifestyle company, but it wasn't really going to be a huge business.
Yeah, that's basically what it turned into, is kind of a lifestyle business. We were out here, we're living here, we're making decent money, and it was great, like, for traveling and doing all the things that we want to do, but we're basically losing agents and just picking up new agents with new clients. We did that for a while. Toward the end, though, we ended up with big loss of clients when they finally ended the contract with us. So we took a bit of a hit there. We didn't have anyone to replace those agents, and these agents were well-trained, bright, smart people. We trained them, worked with them for over a year at that point.
Yeah, and we knew them well, and we knew their strengths, we knew their weaknesses, and that's very powerful when you're a manager or a business owner, to have people that you know well, that work with you well, that can get a job done. You don't want to let those people go.
That's when we really started thinking about what we can do to keep these trained, smart, bright agents on board. And really, we were probably looking for a 6-month interim solution, just something to where they can cover their salaries so we're not putting out a bunch of extra money to keep them on board. So I started looking online, and I ended up going to places like the Warrior Forum and reading about niche sites and how people were creating these sites with AdSense monetization. And I said, wow, we've got a staff that can absolutely do that. I mean, these guys have been building websites and performing SEO to get these sites seen for local SEO. Why couldn't we do the same thing for niche sites?
And, buddy, I really thought you were wasting your time there. I mean, the Warrior Forum, places like that, although we're very active on the Warrior Forum, we're very active in some of these other forums, it is filled with a lot of get-rich-quick, become a millionaire online kind of thing that I don't appreciate so much. It just seems too salesy, too marketing to me.
Dude, we're on the same page there. I mean, neither one of us are really fans of hardcore, hyped, overselling you crap or info products that are just rehashed from someone else. And there's a ton of that. It seems, not just at Warrior Forum, but other places in the internet marketing community. In fact, I would say we're not big fans of the internet marketing community in general.
No. And I tell you, I'm wearing my Google AdSense t-shirt today, Justin, But when you first introduced the idea of building a whole bunch of niche sites around Google AdSense advertising and making cents on the dollar, I really did not see the light.
Yeah, basically, we didn't waste any resources at first. I started off doing it. I said, you know what? I'm just going to try it. I'm going to have a little bit of faith. I'm going to build a few sites and just see what the hell happens. This was through December 2010. So
Right.
I started building out sites on my own, right? I think I wrote a little bit of content myself. And we just started putting a few sites out there and seeing what happened. I ended up putting a lot of hours on. I'd say maybe 80 to 100 hours into the project in December 2010. And how much did we make, buddy?
$33.
Yeah, $33 for 80 hours of work. I was devastated, man. Crushed.
And I kept saying, I told you
Oh,
so.
I know, dude. It was miserable. I stick with it, though. I said, you know what? I don't care. Maybe something will happen. We built all these sites. We might as well see it through. Plus, again, I don't want to lose these agents. I want to keep these agents on board. So I start to outsource the process to our agents in-house, and they started building out the content, building out the sites. And in January, we made a little bit more money. In February, we made a bit more money. The funny thing, though, Joe, is that in February, I was a bit depressed, actually, because it wasn't really kind of connecting or moving forward the way I thought it was. And you were starting to get a little fired up about it. You thought it had some potential.
Well, yeah, I think in February we made about $600 or something like that. And I saw that by scaling the process, all these little pennies could add up. All these little tiny sites that made just $10 a month, if you could make them cheap enough, quick enough, and make enough of them, you could really build some income. But I have to say, the real thing that when it took off for me was in March when we said, okay, let's go ahead and scale this thing, but we're going to need some money to do that. And I didn't want to come out of pocket. And you said, well, hey, let's flip some of these sites. Let's go ahead and go out there and auction off some of our well-working sites that I said, wow. When that first auction came through for a few $1,000s, I was so impressed and said, this is a great model.
Yeah, we considered it from the beginning. I mean, obviously the name AdSenseFlippers.com, that was something that we kind of planned on doing, but we were amazed at the level of interest we got on our first auction. I mean, for our first auction, we got a ton of viewers. The interest was through the roof. So we determined at that point, wow, there's a real market for this. People really want these AdSense sites. That's when we said, okay, let's keep charging forward. Let's see if we can flip more of these sites and do even more.
Yeah, and now it becomes more of a supply and demand issue than just, okay, how many sites can you build and how many clicks can you get? That's pretty cool. That's more of a business model than just some sort of internet marketing scheme.
Yeah, so it was really March that we said, okay, we're going to really move forward with this thing and see how far we can take it. We actually started AdSense Flippers in May. I went back and wrote back some of the income reports and that kind of thing so we had a little bit more content and kind of could give our story on the blog. But that's when we started. We said, you know what? It's working out for us. I bet it could work out for other people. Let's show them the model. Here's one of the things, though, that I struggle with, right? Because we often tell people, okay, here's our process. Here's something that you guys can follow. But it may or may not work for you. There's no guarantees here. I mean, it doesn't mean that what we did will necessarily make you successful. So I hesitate to say, okay, follow our model. Here's our blueprint. Follow this exactly, and you're going to make a bunch of money. It's not necessarily the case. What I do hope people get from AdSense Flippers, though, is they can learn some tips and tricks that help them grow their business. For example, we're really successful at building niche sites at scale. So if you're having trouble scaling your business, I would try to get that out of us. If you're struggling to figure out how to sell websites on Flippa, we're good at that. We're really good. So take a look at some of our content that deals with selling websites, and I think it'll take you a long way towards making a profit with yours.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would say, Justin, is get out there and start building sites. Get out there and start trying stuff. Stop buying ebooks and reading ebooks and listening to podcasts and not doing anything. Go out there and try it and then get interactive in the community because you'll have something to talk about.
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, that basically takes AdSense Flippers to where we are today. We've definitely had some struggles. We had some sites that were tanked. We've had some sites that weren't as successful. We're working through that, and we're definitely looking to see what we can do to build out our sites. I mean, right now we make $10 sites a month like clockwork, But what if we found a way to take a $30 a month site to a $200 a month site? Based on our multiples, that's taking a $600 a month site or a $600 in value site to $2,000, $4,000.
Or what if we found a way to take some of our internal tools that are very valuable and package them and pretty them up and put a nice UI on them and actually offer a useful tool that we know works on the back end to other people?
Yeah, so that's basically AdSense Flippers. That's where we came from. We just want to share with you a bit of our story. Hopefully that'll help you out.
The AdSense Flippers Podcast continues.
Okay, now it's time for our ninja marketing tips, tricks, and our plans for the future. So we want to go over today with you really quick is crowdsourcing creative work.
Yeah, Justin. One of the things I think we struggle with is we're not really creative people. When I say that, of course we're creative because we're successful at business. That requires some level of creativity. But what I mean is we're not artsy.
Yeah, I remember I did a post recently on Picasso, and it shows how he starts off, some of the mistakes he made, how he corrects it. Oh my God, that's so beyond me. I have no idea how to do that type of stuff.
Yeah, I would say, the same thing with writing or anything like that. If you asked me to come up with a story or stuff, I would not excel at that part. I'm an engineer by trade, and that's what I'm good at. However, what we found is that the best way to do creative work and to get the most ideas is to crowdsource it. And there's two companies we absolutely love to work with. I mentioned one in the beginning of the podcast, 99 Designs. If you guys need logo help or if you need website help, I absolutely suggest going to 99 Designs. The cool thing is that for one flat fee, you'll actually get hundreds of people all around the world to submit their ideas, what they think. So the process at 99 Designs is pretty simple, Justin. You've gone through it a number of times. Talk to us about it a little bit.
Yeah, so man, one of the things with 99 Designs, I would say the reason to choose 99 Designs over going with one particular designer is you're going to get a multitude of options, totally different ways of looking at your problem of logo or design.
Yeah, but if I hire a designer, Justin, you're not going to get 8 different designs?
You are, but you're going to get them all from the same mindset, from the same approach. So you're not going to get people that are thinking outside the box or are presenting a different view on things that maybe really stands out to you. So if you just go with one designer, they're basically going to come up with the same stuff. 99 Designs gives you a multitude of people to work with, and then you can pick the one that you think has the best idea for your project.
Yeah, and then obviously you can refine it from there, and that will really help the community to build you a logo or a website that fits what you believe your website or logo should look like.
That's one of the things I love about 99 Designs too, is you can actually rate the different designs that come in and then give specific feedback to that designer. So you can say, okay, I like what you did here, but could you make it a little bit more this way? You can also give feedback to the designers in general. So you can say, okay, overall I want it to be this way.
Yeah, and it becomes like an evolution, honestly, Justin. You start at one thing and you go in this direction that you never thought possible, and then you come out with a guy in a Hawaiian t-shirt with shorts on the beach flipping a coin.
If you've never used 99 Designs, I'll tell you it's relatively easy to start using too. I mean, they ask for a design brief where basically you just explain the general idea, what your company does, what you want to do in the future, and then ask you a few more questions, and that's it. That easy to get started. One of the other things about 99 Designs I think is cool is you can actually create a survey, and then you can send that to your users, your customers, and have them help you pick out the logo. So if you've got 3 or 4 different directions you want to head in, you can actually have them help you pick out the logo or the design for your website that you think would be best.
Yeah, the survey piece is absolutely killer. Love that piece of the 99 Designs.
Second thing we want to talk about is Voice 123. Voice 123 is the 99 Designs for voice work. Originally, we were planning on doing the intro for the AdSense Flippers podcast. We were planning on doing it ourselves, and we did a couple of run-throughs, and honestly, not happening, man.
Pretty bad, buddy. I mean, I know you tried to be energetic. You had your energy drinks, you had your coffee, you were pumped, but I can tell you it's not professional.
Yeah, dude, those guys rock, man. I love working with Voice 123. It's actually a fun process. One of those things you actually look forward to. One of the many jobs or projects you're like, yeah, I can't wait to do this again. I look forward to the next time we need some voice work done.
Yeah, it's really, you'll get very unique people from, again, all around the world submitting their script. You put your script in there, they read it in their particular voice. You can get British people, you can get South African people, Australian people, English-speaking people. You get other languages if that's what your thing is. So that's really nifty. Love that piece of Voice 123. And then some of the great things is that they'll make it very professional. They'll add little sound effects, whatnot, to make it sound like it was done in a professional studio.
Joe, it's cool how they do the custom stuff too. So basically you put in a bit of a script and then they'll actually give you back the recording. So you can just listen to them and like, okay, dump this guy. Wow, that sounds pretty cool. The first few we got were pretty amazing. So we're pretty happy about that.
Yeah, let's talk about a little bit about why you would use Voice 2123. If you have a commercial, obviously you're going to need a voiceover. Yeah, of course. But even if you have just like a little video on your website that requires better sounding voiceover than your own voice, absolutely suggest that, because I don't know about you, I hate the sound of my own voice in recording, and so sometimes it's better to just get that professional voice. It's not very expensive. For about $100 you can easily get a 60-second clip, maybe even more.
Yeah, it's a good deal. So guys, check out 99 Designs, check out Voice 123, especially if you have any creative work you need done. I think it's great. So definitely consider crowdsourcing your creative work. We found a ton of value in that. Unless you're like a totally creative person yourself and come up with these great ideas, you might as well get some ideas from the people that do it really well. All right, last and final thing we want to cover. Want to give a big shout out to Manny Pacquiao, who's got a fight coming up. He's the pride of the Philippines. We're big fans. When's the fight, buddy?
Saturday night in the U.S., going to be Sunday afternoon here in the Philippines. Here it's crazy. Even movie theaters will be showing.
I talked about this a little bit. Like even in the squatters area, right? You'll see like 20 people circled around this tiny TV, cheering, going crazy, drinking their Red Horse beer, just having a crazy time. So love Manny Pacquiao, man. Hope you win. Well, that wraps up the second episode of the AdSense Flippers podcast. So excited to have you guys listening. Look for our third episode coming out in about 2 weeks. Until then, make sure you check out AdSenseFlippers.com, and we'll see you on Twitter at AdSense Flippers.
You've been listening to the AdSense Flippers Podcast with Justin and Joe. Be sure to hit up AdSenseFlippers.com for more. That's AdSenseFlippers.com. Thanks for listening.